spent significant time in the last year thinking about meaning and purpose. I recently made a video about this where I argue that the primary meaning of life is not the pursuit of happiness, but rather the pursuit of experiences and ventures which will lead to personal growth and character development. This learning and development will add a constant nuance to life and help to avoid the mediocrity and grayness which we all fear. I have recently been able to put a name on this concept. I call it the spaghetti theory of personal development. Let me explain. I've spent considerable time over the last 10 years going down multiple paths. I have tried to be a YouTuber on at least 6 different occasions. I wrote 2 books, I sold fitness plans online, I curated Spotify playlists, I started a social media agency, built websites, ran social media pages, moved to Canada, moved to Sweden, got a university degree, and most recently I have started calling myself a self-taught developer. The thing is, none of these ventures have been particularly successful, by any external standards. I'm not famous by any means and far from rich. I would be lying if I said that these 2 aforementioned goals did not motivate me at all, because they do. However, I have learned to love the process, to be thrilled to undertake something new, or pivot in some unique way, because I know that it will add yet another perspective or skill set that will help me navigate reality. One thing which I have fallen for is the concept of skill stacking. Skill stacking is the rule which states that as you start adding multiple skills, the value of all other skills which you have increase in value exponentially. Being able to do one thing well and then adding another skill to that increases the value of that first skill, no matter if it's related or unrelated. For example, take any person who is successful in a particular niche and work this backward. Take Drake. You have charisma, acting skills, songwriting ability, and the ability to sing and the ability to rap, and all of a sudden you have the recipe for a generational superstar. On a much smaller level, I have begun looking at my life through a similar lens. My knowledge of app development will only become more valuable as I add video editing skills, social media knowledge, and corporate experience, for instance. Therefore, I like to look at myself and anyone else who's pursuing a variety of seemingly random paths, not as directionless, but someone who's optimizing for the point where preparation meets opportunity. Now, so how does this relate to spaghetti? Essentially, the process that I'm describing above refers to testing as many different paths as possible in order to see what works for you. And if it does not work, you're still adding skills and experience to your skill stack. When cooking spaghetti, one way of testing whether spaghetti is done is to throw it at the wall and seeing if it sticks. To begin with, if you're not throwing any spaghetti at the wall, no spaghetti would ever stick to that wall. Similarly, if you're not trying anything different within your life, nothing will ever stick to that wall, so to speak. Moreover, if you take unboiled piece of spaghetti and throw it at the wall, the chance of it sticking to the wall are marginally larger. Similarly, if you're trying different things but not doing so with intention, patience and consistency, the chances of this venture developing into something meaningful are slim to none. Furthermore, if you boil a pack of spaghetti perfectly and then fling one at the wall, the chances of it sticking increase significantly. Just like this, if you take a pursuit, apply patience, intention and consistency and fling it at the wall of life, it is much more likely to stick. However, when throwing spaghetti at the wall, there are some external variables which you may or may not be able to predict. What is the wind like? Is there anything wrong with the pasta water? What is the wall made of? These external variables will vary and may bring down the chance of that well-cooked piece of spaghetti sticking. By this point, I think you know where I'm going with this. Some pursuits will just not work out at specific times. Therefore, in order to maximize the chance of one piece of spaghetti sticking to the wall, you need to throw as many pieces as possible. Professional ventures are similar. The more YouTube videos you make, the larger the chance of one going viral. The more apps you build, the larger the chance of one being downloaded by a large audience. The more businesses that you start, the higher the likelihood that one takes off. Additionally, I'm certain that the more spaghetti you throw at walls, the better you will become at throwing spaghetti. And the higher the likelihood that 1, 2, or even 3 will stick. Going one step further, if you become good at throwing, picking the right kind of spaghetti, cooking the spaghetti, each one of those skills will become more valuable when combined with the others. Similarly, the more different skills that you add to your skill stack, the more valuable the other skills will become, and the more likely you'll be able to capture a moment of opportunity with your preparation. Consciously, I've been living in accordance to this over the last few months, and subconsciously over the last few years. Lately, I've even sold my apartment, quit my job, and embarked on a rather unconventional pivot in both my professional and private life. I have no shame in starting something new, trying something different, or pivoting whatever I'm doing, because I'm convinced that I'm throwing as much spaghetti as I can at the wall of life, and at the same time improve my skills exponentially. No breakthrough or big moment has come for me yet, but it will. And I'm convinced that one day, preparation will meet opportunity.